and welcome to the weekly Brantley Bank Coaches Show hosted by Vaughn Forest Church, where we talk all things Pike Road Patriots football with head football coach Ed Rigby. My name is Adam Bishop. I serve as the pastor of Vaughn Forest Church and the host of our weekly Brantley Bank Coaches Show. And today, before we get to Coach Rigby, we have a special guest with us here in our studio, athletic director and varsity volleyball coach, Joy Washington. So, Coach Washington, thanks for being here today.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Awesome. Now, I know there's a lot happening just with the football season in the fall. I can't imagine as an athletic director, I'm sure you've got a lot on your plate with all of the fall sports that are happening this time of year.
Absolutely. Of course, football, volleyball, and cross country as well as cheer are kicking off the sports season for us.
That's awesome. Well, Coach Washington, you've done such a great job with leadership. Being in leadership, anytime there's transitions, there's some challenges, there's some opportunities that go with that. So kind of, paint a picture of the last 3 to 4 months of your life. Bringing Coach Rigby on, starting the football season. We're already 5 games in. What has that been like just through that transition? And I'm sure you've been super thrilled with the results on the field, but, just getting to kind of see that from your perspective, leading the entire athletic department.
It's been an exciting change for us. I think with Coach Rigby coming in, the guys are finally kind of getting acclimated to what he wants and kind of feeding into the culture that he's brought with us. So a 3-game winning streak, we're excited about that. And then when we talk about the other sports, we've got volleyball, of course, is kicking off. I think we'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Cross country, who's led by Coach Cleveland and Coach Morrell, they have kicked off their season, doing a good job every Saturday. They're somewhere competing and running with those kids. And then cheer, who is led by Coach Ball, Coach T, and Coach Keisha, they contribute every Friday night for us. Those girls work really hard to put in the work to support our football team.
That's awesome. And so many folks don't realize that. They see the football team on Friday nights, but you just routed off quite a bit. So we got cross-country team every Saturday. Our cheerleading teams continue to not only support our teams in a great way on Fridays, but they compete as well.
Yes, they're looking forward to competing in October. They're getting ready for the regional competition. So they've been putting in probably 2 or 3 times a week preparing for that, as well as preparing for our Friday night football game.
And just the investment that the coaches make into the lives of these students. I mean, talk about that, because so many people, they may see the cross country meet or they may see the cheerleading competition, but just the countless hours that goes in behind the scenes investing into these young people's lives.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger than ball. So a lot of our coaches, we have a really, really great staff, but a lot of our coaches spend a lot of time off the field, just kind of poured into the lives of these kids. And we enjoy it. It's something that we look forward to doing on a day-to-day basis.
That's so great. And then I know this doesn't fall in the athletic department, but as a part of our Friday night football games, our band, they do such a great job every week. So talk a little bit about that, just the support, Mr. Darby, Mrs. Walters, their leadership with the band, the support they provide for the athletic department.
Absolutely. We look forward to highlighting our band every Friday night, and we'll also do a little spiel for homecoming where they get to present after. But what I love to see is how our athletes sit and watch the band during halftime, the cheerleaders do, and then after the game, you see the football kind of gesture to the band. So trying to get that community, they're a really big part of our support system, so we want to make sure we honor them and support them as well.
That's so great. It's one of the things I love so much about being there on Friday nights is you see that support among the students for each other. So, you talk about sports, they're year-round, there's always in-season, and then there's always off-season. So we have some athletes that I guess they're technically in their off season, but the winter sports season's right around the corner. We've got the spring season that'll be here before we know it. So talk a little bit about that, whether it's golf, basketball, baseball, anything kind of happening in the athletic department as it pertains to those sports?
So right now, we've got our winter sports kind of getting ready to kick off. You've got your girls and boys basketball. They're in their off-season training right now, so they're kind of putting in some conditioning work, weightlifting, getting into the weight room a little bit, as well as bowling is getting ready to kick off. We've got wrestling getting ready to do the same thing. And then as far as spring goes, they're a little bit later, but they'll kind of get geared up into tryouts and things of that nature. And then one of our golf members, Quincy Leonard, real exciting news for him and his family. He just got an opportunity to compete in the Steph Curry Cup golf tournament. So that's exciting news for us and our school, but especially for Quincy.
That's fantastic. Well, congratulations, Quincy. That's awesome news, and we'll certainly certainly be supporting him. And it's one of Steph Curry's golf. I didn't know he was doing this.
Yes.
That's so cool. I love it.
Very cool. I kind of want to go.
Yeah, really. How do we get in on that, Quincy? Let us know. That's fantastic. Well, you're the head volleyball coach, and we're right in the middle of volleyball season. And we actually have some volleyball players here at our church that I was talking on Sunday about their volleyball season, and they had recently played a match against Pike Road, and they were singing the praises of the Pike Road volleyball team. So even your opponents are giving some respect. So I love to hear that. But talk a little bit about, I believe the record currently 16-10 overall, 4-0 here in the area. And tonight,
yes, sir.
Montgomery Academy.
Yes, sir.
That's some big competition.
It is some big competition, and that's kind of what I wanted to bring to Pike Road is just kind of honoring the competition, stepping up to the plate, playing. Obviously, going into 6A, we get to see a lot of the bigger schools. We went over to Thompson earlier this year, competed against Thompson and John Carroll. Didn't get the wins we wanted, but we definitely learned a lot about ourselves and about our team. And we've kind of used that to kind of breathe the second half of our season.
Awesome. So. And who are some of the players that you're really kind of leaning on for their leadership, both on and off the court when it comes to volleyball?
Well, I've got 8 juniors, so that says a lot about just the program and where we're going, where we're headed. But junior captain Allie Leverage, a huge part of our team, our Final Four team last year, has kind of picked off where she left off last year. Just a phenomenal kid on and off the court. Her leadership, she's kind of our go-to right now.
Awesome.
One of the sleepers I would like to say is Marley Gorman. She, the work that she put in the off season has really, really sparked a plug in her and our team. She's been a go-to as well. I've got an 8th grader. I've got a 9th grader. I mean, we are very, very talented all the way from the whole roster. So any given day, the beauty of it for me as a coach is I get to have kind of a little bit of fun with our lineup, and we compete every single day in practice, going back and forth with each other. And so just trying to get a sense of family and union, but also that good competitive edge.
That's awesome. I love that. And as a coach, that's got to be exciting to have excitement with the team now, but also excitement for the future as well with the program. That's great. Well, there's some really fun news that we're sharing today, and our listeners may not know this, our viewers may not know this, but Pike Road Live, which everyone's used now to, if they can't make it to the football games, they know they can rely on that broadcast on YouTube, our Pike Road Live channel, is actually going to be on site September 27th for the match, I believe, is this against St. James that you guys are going to have. So we're going to be able to watch the volleyball match on our YouTube live channel, Pike Road Live. That's got to be exciting.
Yes, we're very excited. I don't even know if I even mentioned it to the girls. I kind of try to go day by day, so we're obviously focused on tonight.
Right.
But yeah, next week, just a huge opportunity for us, but excited about the program and the growth of it, but we're excited. It'll be a fun night for us.
So that's going to be on Tuesday night, September 27th at Pike Road Live. So make sure we'll send out some reminders for all of our viewers and listeners to support the Pike Road volleyball team, watching them. And I bet your team's going to be excited to hear that.
Oh, yeah. It's also senior night. It's a big area match.
Oh, great.
E.G. Maceres is one of our seniors. Desiree is the other. We only have 2. But, yeah, it's going to be a fun time. St. James is a really, really good program. So it's going to be the area championship for regular season pretty much. So
that's awesome. We'll certainly look forward to that. We're excited about the match tonight. And Coach Washington, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your leadership for all things Pike Road athletics. And thanks for being with us today on the Brantley Bank Coaches Show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Well, Coach Rigby, thanks for being back with us again.
Thank you so much.
For another week. Absolutely. And off week this week, we'll talk about that here in just a minute, some of the preparation going in to what's ahead of us. But we got to recap last week's game. Big win on the road against Eufaula. 16-10, pulled it out there in overtime. So I'm sure you got a lot of thoughts going back to your old team and leaving with a win.
Yes. It was again, much like with Tumpka, how it went down to the very end, it is what high school football, their side packed, our side really full. 2 good football teams battling it out back and forth, to the bitter end, and then obviously overtime, and somebody has to lose. And, they did a great job. Our defense did a phenomenal job because they can throw. They do have the ability in their quarterback, Cotton. They have the ability to throw. They got good receivers, and they can buy time. But our defense did a phenomenal job throughout the game of containing that. Offensively, they did a great job defending some things we do because they kind of know the things we do. There were a few things they were doing, the players, on some of the stuff we run, how they were jumping outside and stuff, were stuff that you would only know had you done it.
Right.
And our kids are telling, hey, they're doing this. No one's done this before. I'm like, yeah, because they know exactly that's how you defend this. And their coaches do, you know. So it made it a lot tougher on us offensively. But we didn't help ourselves a lot in a lot of ways. Number one, the penalties. Number two, a lot of miscues. We had multiple miscues throughout the game. Ball hits the grounds. We lose 12 yards. You know, in critical, 3rd and 2, and now it's 3rd and,
Right.
And 19.
Right.
I mean, we had some critical things like that where we just weren't on our A game offensively. The guys played hard. It wasn't that, but we just wasn't on as a group our A game, and they had something to do with that.
Sure,
they had something to do with it. But it was super physical, super competitive, and again, it turned out the way we wanted, so it was the greatest game ever. And we go with that. But some of the standouts, and we have it right here in front of us. Defensively is where I want to start. Cody Markham, who's our leading tackler, had 9 tackles the other night, and we moved him down to Sam due to an injury, and he just had a great game, playing a position he hadn't been playing.
That's fantastic.
Malik Blockton was phenomenal. He had 8 tackles, 1 sack, and 3 tackles for loss. He was dominant up front. Him and Buki were dominant, and Shamar also. Those guys, again, created such a knockback, and it took away a lot of their passing. Just we were back there. Not so much that we were putting him on the ground, which we had a big sack out of Shamar and them down the stretch in the overtime. But it's not so much we were putting him on the ground, but we were changing the trajectory of the passes because we were just in his face.
Right.
And so, and that's part of it. And but that was big. Offensively, our offensive line did a great job up front. Like I say, we miscued a lot of stuff in the tail end. Anthony had 22 carries for 110 yards and 1 touchdown. Adrian Thornton had 10 carries for 60 yards. And the important thing was we had an 87-yard drive to get the points to tie the game at the end.
Let's talk about that. That stood out to me, Coach, because it's such a physical battle the entire game. To have a drive like that when it mattered most, that was really good.
We have a 2nd and 2, and again, it's a miscue. We have a hurry up we call NASCAR. So we hurry up, we get in NASCAR. Well, it's loud right there in the game, and our center snaps the ball. Anthony wasn't ready, and we retrieve it back there on the 2-yard line. You know what I'm saying? And so, it again, it's one of those miscues that you can't point it when it was bad luck.
Yeah,
it happened.
They happen.
And so then we get the ball, march it down there, and kick a field goal was impressive because we just we had to fight the clock.
Right.
So we got that battle going on, but yet I want to use enough of it that they don't get it back. We're gonna put some points up there. I don't want them having much time, which they went ahead and just knelt it out. So that worked out really good. We squeezed every second we could out of it to the last second, and but it was just a good drive. It was another testament, very similar to like the Wetumpka game where it's or the comeback in the first game. We come back and tie and get it of right, this isn't over. Here we go. We're going to work.
Right.
We're down 10 to 7, and we're going to work. Here it is. And it's just chop. And there was never a doubt in my mind we would go down there and put points on the board. I mean, I thought we'd score a touchdown and just win it in regulation. But we could have. It was a short 4th and 2. But, hey, take the points. Take the points.
And you didn't really hesitate. Confidence in Brendan to send him out there.
Yeah. Send him on out there.
Yeah.
And he's got a really, really good leg. And, we had some little injuries here and there in the game, and some kids were forced to do a few things they don't normally do, and that brings us into the bye week. We got a lot 3 in a row coming into the bye week. We don't call it an off week; we call it a bye week. Off sends a weird connotation to the kids in their brain. Oh, we're off. Let's don't practice hard. And but it was a good week because Monday we had an away middle school. And JV against Elmore County up in Eclectic. You ever been to Eclectic?
I have.
Awesome little town. Awesome little stadium. I don't know how old it is. I'll look it up. But, they have the block walls around the end. And it looks like maybe once upon a time, maybe it was a baseball field too. I mean, it's got to be 60, 70 years old at least. And when the sun was going down and the kids are out there playing, and I was looking around, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. And, they had a great little crowd for the middle school. We had a great little crowd in the middle school game. And I'm thinking, this is what it's all about.
That's great.
This is beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
And but we had 2 big wins. Both our middle school and our JV are both 3-0. Our middle school is handily won every game, and our JV, has won them. And the last one was handily. We won 40 to 8 on the last game. But we play this Monday night at home versus Beauregard. Beauregard's middle school and JV are really, really good.
Okay.
So this is going to be a great one. The middle school game starts at 5, and the JV comes right after. So I encourage everybody to come out.
Absolutely.
For on Monday nights, give you something to do. It's better than sitting around the house watching Netflix and Cobra Kai. And so get up off the couch, come on up there and
see some good football.
See some football.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it's the future.
Yeah.
And we have over 65 7th and 8th graders. And middle school, or JV, these are our 9th and 10th graders. These are our future, and success breeds success at every sport and at everything, and every facet of life. And winning with those kids keeps that thing of, well, we just win. We're going to win. We win. So it's important. And coming out of that, next week, and what we hadn't prepped for Park Crossing, our next game, which will be a home game. It'll be a blackout that night. We'll hit that out in social media tomorrow, but it'll be a blackout next Friday. And, we'll wear the all-black uniforms, those jump man. I still can't believe I'm going to go out there in a football uniform with a basketball guy on it, but I still have a hard time swallowing it. But I know what they paid for them.
There you go.
So we're, by gosh, going to wear
That's
them.
right.
And, but it's a blackout that night. And, the bleachers. The bleachers are done.
They look fantastic, Coach.
I asked, because originally I was told how it's this big. Well, when the foreman shows up the first morning, I'm out there talking to him. He's like, "Oh no, it's 189 feet across. It's gonna be the whole field, wider than the field, and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Well, I'm supposed to see like 1,100." He goes, "Oh no, this is 1,500 to 1,600 seats on the plot." He said, "You at 1,600, but realistically, you'll get 15, because of space and stuff and walking around." And it's beautiful. Beautiful, man. It adds such a dimension. And they're kind of split, and where half will be visitor, half will be,
I was gonna ask
home.
that.
Yeah, so it adds a whole new dimension. So, folks, how you've had to come and stand. You've got some good seats, and I know they're in the end zone, but they're the way they are when you walk up and sit in them, you have a great view because we have great lighting, and you're right there on the field. You're right there. It's not like you're away from it, but they're really some great seats, and it opens up a whole new aspect of how many people, because a lot of people I've talked to, when I got the job, before I even coached the game, we're like, hey, we it's so crowded, we have to stand. We just, we kind of quit coming. Well, those folks need to come back,
right?
Because now there is a lot of room. Literally for us, let's just say it's just 600 more seats or whatever, which is more. But hey, you want to be comfortable and space out. If it's just 600, we need to fill them jokers up. It's the old thing. If you build it, they will come.
Right.
Well, we've built it, so
now
come on.
It's time to come.
It's time to come.
Yeah.
But this week we're getting ready for Park Crossing, our next, which is the closest school to us right here, closest region folk, closest school period. And this school district was carved out of that. So. First time we've ever obviously played, I guess. So it's going to be a region game. They've got athletes, they've got players, but we've not spent this week working on them at all.
Okay.
What we spent this week on was, it's on the weekly plan. It's all about us, not about them. Explanation point. There are things we need to do. We needed to be certain spots, and I've done this for years. Mid-season, I want to be here. We're pretty close. The only place we're not there really yet is on the amount of miscues offensively between penalties and just miscues of things that we're doing. And that's the only place where we didn't kind of hit the bar, because when you hit that bar, you score 3 more touchdowns last Friday night, maybe more. You may be lopsided, blowout. Football's a funny game. The ball, like basketball, if I chest pass a ball or bounce it off the floor 100 times right here, it's going to go in the same direction 100 times. Football, I can throw it that way 100 times, and every one of them's different because it's oblong. The ball bounces in many funny ways. And in a game that can be close like the other night, you change 1 or 2 things early.
Right.
Like in the second half, we're just driving right down the field, penalty, miscue, lose ours, boom, have to punt. And we're just boom. And in my mind, score here, this is over.
Right.
You know, you can feel the vibe of this. Score here, this one's over. And so the thing is, we spent this week working on us. All right, let's get this thing down to these personnel groupings and really work the rotation so that's not an issue. And injuries changes a lot of that. But let's get these personnel groupings. All right, offensively, what are we leaving on the table out there? Well, there's one thing in particular where 6 times the other night, and we got it right once, and it was 22 yards. And I don't want to say what it is because I don't want them to know.
Sure.
Okay, if somebody listens to this, oh, that's what.
Right.
All right, what do we need to do to get our guys to see this, understand this, pull this off, and add 50 yards a game to our offense and maybe breakaways, you know, and because it'll thin everything out. What do we need to do this? So, hey, hey, these are the drills we want to do. We're going to work it every day. Let's get better. And you can see the progress in it. And we're going to see the progress next week. Other things, passing wise. What did we do all summer? What do we need to get back to? What do we feel confident now? Because down the stretch, we had really good pass protection against the best pass rusher we will see all year.
Right.
I mean, period. And like I told our kids, you want to know what a real an Alabama player? There he is. You know, Janze had a great game. He came about as hard as any human, you know, can come. And again, there's certain ways we would line up. He would jump B because he knew, you know, you're going, you know, this is where it's going to come, and then go from here. So it really made us better because they were able to play harder. Number one, off their motivation, because they said they had, you know, great, you know, me and Jarrell talk all the time, great week of practice, kids really focused, they want to put it on you, coach. And great. And it made the game so much better and made us better. But there are things coming out of that and out of the first 5 that let's make a small punch list and let's go attack them this week. And that's what we've done. And a lot of it's been just the teaching, repetitive teaching, not the head banging of just getting stuff down. And we'll bring it together today. You know, we'll do what we call play the game. Usually it's a Wednesday practice. We're doing a day where we'll kick off and go through everything, just like as if it's a game. And we'll get 40 reps in, ones-on-ones with breaks. You know, we'll go 8 break, 8 break, 8 break, and that kind of thing. But we'll rotate a lot more. Usually won't rotate as many younger kids in, but we're going to today, especially on the offensive line, because we got like Vison's on his official visit to Tennessee today. Okay. So, you know, we've got some movement like that, and another O-lineman out for a few days. So we you know, we've got some younger kids like, nope, sophomore center, you're getting every snap today.
That's great.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Buki will be on you.
Yeah.
And so, hey, you know, and that's the thing, you know, you grow up, which he goes against him a lot, you know, when we have 2s-on-1s, you know, type stuff. But hey, you're rolling with the ones, big guy. You know, you're our future, and let's get better. And all right, coach, let's do this. You know, I was talking to him this morning. He goes, all right, I got it, coach. I said, look, just give us a snap, buddy. You know, and but no, he's a really, really good kid, Hicks, and but you know, so it should be really good out there today. Be good and hot. That's one thing. It was hot yesterday. It's the first time since I've been here. Everybody said, oh, the turf's 12 yards, and it is. You know, we can check it with a little thing. And yesterday was the first time where I was like going, all right, okay, that looked pretty good. Let's don't do that again.
Yeah,
and
it was hot. It was hot.
Yeah, it was kind of hot. And yeah, you can, which the kids were perfectly fine. And but we need a good day today. They'll be off tomorrow afternoon. We'll do some work in the morning during block, and we'll get them off tomorrow afternoon. Kind of redo your batteries. We won't bring them in Sunday night. Redo the batteries. You know, because again, we have our plan. What we've worked on all week is what we're running next Friday night. Right. Period. Right. And we've already had film on them. We know what they do. We'll get film from, you know, their game tomorrow night versus Selma. So any adjustments, okay, defensively they did that. We'll be able to adjust it over the weekend and have it ready for Monday. But you know, hey, here's the run. We've got 5 in a row. We've got Park Crossing at home. We got Russell County at home for homecoming. Then we go to Stanhope. Then we go to Carver. You know, we got 4 region games in a row. Then we come back home for Booker T last regular season game of the year. And then the playoffs start week 11. So this is the run, you know, right here that we're geared up and getting ready for. And like I say, you know, Lord willing, we'll put it all together and see the fruits of this week's labor next week. And that's the plan and that's the belief.
Awesome. Well, Coach, you got me fired up already for next week. It's awesome to hear all of the kind of review and preparation for the second half of the season. So I'm going to go ahead and put the link up. I know we've still got a little bit of time to next week's game, but it's never too early to get those tickets. And let me reiterate what Coach said. Plenty of room. New bleachers are in, so we need a good turnout for next week's game. And Coach, appreciate your leadership during this bye week, not an off week, during this bye week
all the way.
And look forward to being back in here next week as we get ready for the next game. So thanks, Coach.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you.
Go Patriots.
Go Patriots.